I better make it good. That's right. Let me tell you guys something. I told y'all earlier that I had my second favorite candidate was Doug Collins, but I'm going to tell you something. Now, he's neck and neck with the next guy that I'm going to introduce, because this gentleman, I'm going to tell you, he helped us in Rockdale County introduce legislation that is going to lower our property tax with House Bill 1102. Brian Strickland maneuvered that piece of legislation through the legislature like nobody's business. Without him, that legislation would not have been possible. Brian Strickland has also led several other major pieces of legislation that impact Rockdale and Newton counties. Brian Strickland led the effort on the sex trafficking bill that we've just got passed here in Georgia to eliminate sex trafficking, because Rockdale and Newton counties are both on the I-20 corridor, and these are the hubs of sex trafficking. So we have to thank Brian Strickland and his efforts of working with our First Lady, Marty Kemp, on doing that. Now, not only has Brian worked on that type of legislation, but Brian has also worked on the hate crime bill. Brian worked on the hate crime bill to also help promote our officers and make sure that our first responders, they are recognized and they have some protection. So, ladies and gentlemen, I want you to give it up for one of the most hard-working gentlemen in the Georgia State Senate, Brian Strickland.
Thank you, Larry. Good afternoon. So I get to close y'all out. Thank y'all for sticking around for me. I gave Larry a hard time. I said, Larry, you made me follow, of course, Bubba singing. Made me follow the comedian earlier. Then I had to follow Doug Collins, the introduction you gave him, and he said he was his second favorite person on the ballot. But Larry, I hate to tell you, Doug was walking out as you're introducing me. He heard what you said, so he knows we're neck and neck now, number 2 on there. Let me say this. I represent District 17, the state senate that has most of Henry County, most of Newton County, most of Rockdale County. But we're in the fight of our lives. They tell me, I don't know who they is, but they tell me that this seat's going blue. Stacey Abrams says this seat's going to flip, and they're going to use this seat in Rockdale, Henry, and Newton County to take the Georgia Senate back to the Democrats. And we're flying under the radar because everybody's following the national race, and we know money is flowing into this district trying to take this seat for the Democrats to take the Senate. But we're not going to let that happen. And, you know, when I was growing up in Henry County, everything was Democrat. Everybody voted Democrat back then. One day I said, Daddy, what's a Republican? He said, well, Republicans, those Yankees, Brian. You know, there are no Republicans around here. But then we saw, of course, after Ronald Reagan, everybody started voting Republican around here. We were red counties, Newton, Rockdale, Henry counties. Well, now they say it shifted back. And they say, well, now these are blue counties, Brian, and Democrats are going to take this seat. Let me tell you something, though. The Democratic Party of today ain't your mama's Democrats. These Democrats are different. And let me tell you, Larry mentioned the hate crimes bill. This past session in the state Senate, we had the hate crimes bill y'all may have heard that came up for a vote. When it came in the Senate, we added first responders as protected class. We said that, you know what, lots of folks are being targeted out there, but our first responders have a target on their backs, and their families should know they have the same protection as anybody else. So we added them to the bill. Thank you. And someone said, Brian, if you add them to the bill's not going to pass. All the Democrats are going to lock down. They're going to stop this bill from going anywhere. I said, there's no way. Surely, you're not going to tell me that anybody's going to vote against our first responders. Well, you know what happened? The bill comes on the floor, and it's a party line vote. Every single Democrat in the state Senate, and I think all but maybe one in the state house. I think he was also crowd surfing with Donald Trump. Was that right, Kathleen? Hey, the only person that voted for the bill when it went to the House, Mr. Jones. But they voted against protecting our first responders. Y'all, this is just one example. I can go on all day of all the things that Democrats now stand for in our state. This is why I believe that if you give us a chance to take our message to blue counties, to counties that are trending blue, we go out, we knock on your door, we call you, we talk about our issues, what we fought for at the Georgia State Capitol, what we're fighting for nationally, we can win those seats. There's 2 things we have to do to win the seat that I'm in, to also hold the House of Representatives here in Georgia. And as Doug said, to also make sure that Donald Trump gets Georgia. And first thing is turning out those folks that didn't come out in 2018. He mentioned the thousands and thousands in our state. There were thousands in my district that voted in 16 but have not been back since. These are what we call the lower tier Republican folks. Folks that know an election's going on, but you got to push them a little bit to get them out to the polls. We got to get those folks out there. Second, we got to get some of those Democrats that realize the Democrat Party doesn't fit them anymore and get them to vote on our side. And we can do that by having conversations with them and going to those doors as well. So I'm going to close out with this. I'm going to ask you to do something for me. It's great that we gather like this. It's great to get energized. It's great to be among like-minded people. But we got to work these next couple weeks to make sure we turn our folks out the ballot. If you want to join one of us, you can join any of these campaigns that are out here today. For me, if you go to stricklandforgeorgia.com, you can volunteer with us. And we'll put you on the phone, we'll put you on the ground knocking on doors, and we'll go out and visit those folks and push those people out to get them to the polls these next couple weeks. With them, we'll make sure that Georgia still has 2 Republican U.S. Senate seats, that Donald Trump wins Georgia, and that Rockdale, Newton, and Henry counties still have a Republican representing you in the state Senate. Thank you all so much for this afternoon.
Thank you, Senator. Thank you so much. Yeah, let's send Brian back to the state house, and let's the Senate. Sorry, and let's work together to make sure that we send Donald J. Trump back to the White House. When you go to vote, take a friend with you. When you go to vote, take a neighbor with you, preferably a conservative one, but take them with you. And if we all work together, we'll deal a big surprise to the media, to the left-wing Marxist media on the evening of November 3rd. But we have to do it together. Thank you, everyone, for coming out. We really appreciate it. Thank you, Brad Pointer. He's around somewhere. If you see him, shake his hand and thank him. Thank you to the Rockdale Republican Party as well, and to all of our guests who came out today to share their message with you. We appreciate y'all. Thank you very much. Bye-bye. Oh, and Just for Fun Radio. Can't forget this guy, even if you can't tell a joke.